We can start, ma'am.
Dear participants, after morning feast of knowledge from all eminent teachers and teacher educators, now on behalf of St. Teresa's of Institute of Education and Edify Learn, I, Dr. Shakuntala Nigot, invite you all to the second session of webinar Education Gen Next: Perspectives, Opportunities and Challenges. Friends, it's my proud privilege to introduce our distinguished speaker of this session, renowned personality in library and information science field, my very own teacher, Dr. Sarika Sawant, Assistant Professor at SHPT School of Library Science, SNDT Women's University, Mumbai. Ma'am Sarika owns 2 postgraduate degrees with first class, that is Master of MSc in Biochemistry and Master of Library and Information Science. Madam has completed her doctoral research in the year 2010 on the topic Institutional Repository Initiatives in India. Ma'am Sawant is currently guiding 7 PhD students. One student has already submitted thesis under her guidance. Ma'am Sarika Sawant has more than 39 research papers published in eminent international scholarly journals in the field of library and information science. Apart from this, she has more than 40 papers published in edited books, seminars and conference proceedings, etc. Also, she has 2 edited books and few edited conference proceedings on her credit. She is also on editorial boards of international peer-reviewed journals like Sage Open. She is member of Board of Studies for Library and Information Science, member of Exam and Syllabus Revision Committee in SNDT Women's University. Madam is actively involved in outreach activities like Muktangan NGO, the NGO which looks after municipal schools and their libraries. Madam is very active on academic social platforms. She has more than 216 citations for her research papers, and her Google Scholar H index is 7. She is having 45 presentations on SlideShare with more than 1,25,000 views. She is also actively involved in writing professional blogs and making educational YouTube videos for her students. So friends, now it's time to learn and listen from the eminent personality with such an amazing biodata and strong digital footprints, that how to make our digital footprints also strong. Ma'am, you are always inspiration to many students in library and information science. And thank you very much, ma'am, for accepting our invitation. Over to you, ma'am Sarika.
Thank you. Thank you very much for such a nice welcome in this afternoon. Okay. I really thank Shakuntala madam and Principal Vagmari madam and the college and organizing committee for giving me the opportunity to talk about the topic which is really required in this era. And just she mentioned that I completed my PhD in 2010, and from 2010 my journey started of enhancing academic visibility, and that is still going on. So I'm very happy to share my journey with all of you, especially the mistakes that I did in my 10 years, in the beginning years, and the rectifications that I did later on. Okay, so let me start with my PPT. Let me screen share my PPT. I hope my PPT is visible to all.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, enhancing visibility of authors through academic social platform, which is really a hot topic of today's, and it is a buzzword, you can say, in among the academicians. Let me start with the 2010 when I did my PhD into 5th May 2010 was my PhD viva, and 10 days I really relaxed, but after 10 days I felt now what I'm supposed to do. Okay, my PhD is over. I was writing few papers, research papers based on my PhD, as well as earlier also the small studies I had undertaken, that PhD, that research papers also I had with me, which were published in a very good journals also, international journals with a high impact factor and index journals. Okay, then I felt that what I'm supposed to do with these. Okay, as a author or as a researcher, you are not supposed to stop at that moment. You still carry your papers along with you, and you have to popularize your papers among the academic community, because when these papers are published, they are just in the journals, in a form of journals. You get you feel nice that your paper has been accepted, it has been published now in that particular journal, but the journal is accessible to whom? Not all audience. Okay, and people are not aware about what you have written, okay, in which journal you have written and what was your topic. So it is just limited only to you, or maybe a close friends, or maybe only up to your institute. That's it. Beyond that, there is nothing. Okay, so the journey starts there. When your paper, your research is over, then actual academic visibility starts at this particular moment. Okay, so let me show you what is our identity online. Okay, what is your identity? It is a big question mark. So if I try to search Google, which is really a biggest giant search engine, which is mostly widely millions of people uses this Google search engine, and when you type your name in Google, what do you find? Who you are? Okay, so let's see. I tried my name putting in Google, and what I have observed. I observed that I'm on a right track. My name is appearing on the first page of this Google. There is, I share my name with one doctor, which you can see the picture here. And her name is also Dr. Sarika Samant. She's a dermatologist. Okay. So what is my identity here? I shared my name with someone else. And whatever the rest of the results you are able to see that they are correct, and it's same. These are the pictures of mine. This is my PPT which I had shared on SlideShare. So my data is correct, but this may be possible in case of all. I don't know. So I tried with some names. Our principal morning only she gave the nice lecture on various technology tools. Sandhya Madam, Sandhya Khedekar. I typed her name, and it is very interesting, very nice to know that her exact identity is displayed here. Okay, she is the teaching staff, she's the principal, she's having her so many degrees that has been displayed. Even she has been her YouTube channel which she started, that is also appearing on the first page of the Google. So all credit goes to her. Okay, so whatever we do, whatever we are trying to do digital in our digital online life, that is reflecting in the Google. Okay, so my precautionary words to all of you participants, that whatever you write online, no matter you write as a form of comments on a blogs, or you write in your website, you write your valuable feedback or a comments wherever, even in a Facebook you post any picture, that should be having some sort of authenticity, or it should be, you should think about 100 times before you writing something on the web, because it is like a boomerang. What you give, that comes back to you. Suppose if you are writing a few bad words, then again that will be the talk of the town, and it will be circulated on the web. So it is my kind request that whatever you write, you have to be very precautious, because this is called as digital footprints that you are giving. Okay, this is in form of digital footprints that you are giving, that your shadow is there in the web. Okay, that is going to be with the deep web. So here what I'm trying to tell you, that see, in my earlier slide my name was appearing like a Dr. Sarika Samant. Here the difference between the name, that you're the, in case of Sandhya Khedekar madam, I have taken her permission by phoning her that can I talk about her in my presentation, and she has given me happily, she has willingly said yes. So when her name is appearing like Dr. Mrs. Sandhya Milind Khedekar, and again in this one particular search, her name has appeared like a Dr. Sandhya M. Khedekar. Okay, see, there is a difference between M. Milind and M. Dot. Okay, most of the places her name is appearing like here also, see, Dr. Sandhya Milind Khedekar. Here that Mrs. word is Gaia. Okay, so what is my point here is telling you that you have to use a standard name. Your name should be standard when you start publishing, start writing, or start blogging online, which is really, really important. Why I'm telling you? Because that is your identity online. Suppose if I'm writing very nice, valuable comment in form of Dr. Sarika Samant, and somewhere my paper is published as a Savant, comma, S dot, then there will be the clashes in the identity. Then who is this person? Then we will try to dig the information that who is this is something different person, or is it same Sarika Samant? So my recommendation to all of you, that you should use the standard form of name wherever online, even in a print format, like how we use our standard signature, like that you have to use the standard name every time whenever you are appearing online. Okay, so in 2010 I started with I really did some silly mistakes, and I will show you that when you write your name, the way you have to present your name is it should carry a uniformity. Okay, then I will just show you, open up about my 10 years journey. what I have done in my 10 years with full live demo. Okay, that how you have to go step by step to have your visibility. It is not a just one day work. It is a day. It is a work. It's a work, hard work that really contributes in a form of whatever returns you get. Okay, so before you start thinking about, okay, I did a topic, I took a topic, I did study very well on one particular topic, and you feel that I should now publish this research. Okay, so as a very hardcore librarian or a researcher or an academician, you should think about a good journals which are there in your field. I am not talking about good in the sense of care listed journals or international journals. We are talking here from the academic visibility point of view. So I will suggest the journals which are very well indexed in a various databases, so that it will be cited in various databases and your name with your paper is reflected wherever in these databases. Okay, so let's start. I will just go through a few slides, and then I will show you what are the good functions of the journals that you will select for submission of your articles, and what all points that you have to consider while even submitting the journal, the article for the journal, because we are very raw. When I did this, I was very raw. I was not understanding how to phrase it, how to write it, and how to give the keywords, how to select the proper thesaurus from journal site. Okay, so those are small points definitely I would like to share with you. So here is about our identity, which you are thinking about yourself in the Google. Let's see. See, this was my profile in 2015. Luckily, I had this screenshot in my computer, which I'm sharing with you. I had that time citations, like 56 citations for my almost 20-25 articles, which this is a story of 2015. And now after 5 years, here is a magic. Okay, so this magic doesn't happen in just one day. It is a 5 years, you can say, not 5 years, but the visibility you are trying to show in that form, in various forms, which will give you the return in this form of citations. Okay, not only citation, but other things also come with this. It's like a bundle of package. Okay, so here I'm really happy to share that I got a 226 citation. These are not my self citations. I'm very clear. These are citations shared by given by various researchers across the globe. They liked it, the article, the research results were cited in a form of literature study what they undertook. So under that, it has been mentioned in the various journals, okay, in various articles. So these articles are cited. You can see here in front of screen that these are the articles were cited by 28, 26, 23. NH index is 7. Okay. See here, you can observe very well. I have written my name, my official email ID. Even I have given the keywords which are of my interest. The topics that are of my interest that are also given you. So that kind of extra efforts that you have to take. And the next slide is about, see, I just showed you that how many citations I have received. Say when you try to search in a Google Scholar, that time when I tried my name, institutional repositories in India, I had done my study, PhD study on this topic. So I was very curious to know in Google Scholar what appears. See, within 5 seconds, 49,200 results were displayed, and my article was standing first. And that is really, I think, a credit, or you can say the visibility or the article that was of interest to many people. So it is appearing in the first. When people talk about institutional repository in India, my article is cited by most of the authors. That is why it is coming first in the page. Okay, I'm giving you the examples that after achieving all this academic visibility, what are the returns? and you should enjoy your returns. Okay, see here again a slide share. I have 45 slides on slide shares. Not necessarily you have to have your slides on a slide shares. There is a F1 1000 website where you can upload your slides, whatever slides PPTs you present in conferences, and even for the classes also you can give. You have to take some extra efforts by making this profile very eye-catchy. You have to give a nice introduction of yours. You have to give linkages from this particular page, and then this particular slide share, you can make it lively by inputting your data. This is the slide. This is about a catalog entry which has been viewed by 43,000 people across globe. I can have a analytics by using the slideshare.net. Then I told you that I made some mistakes in the beginning, that I wrote my name as somewhere as a Sarika Sawant, somewhere I wrote as a Dr. Sarika Sawant, somewhere I wrote my name like Sawant S. my middle name. Even I wrote my, this is a mistake again, that Sawant, comma, S. and no space S. See, this is, these are the this is called as archived, my papers which were archived in ELS repository that I'm showing you. So when I try to search my name in the ELS repository, where I have deposited preprints of my articles, you can see here my 3 different variations of name, and that is absolutely wrong. Okay, I tried to correct it with contacting the moderator, but since it is online, it is available, it is already populated, it is published in ELS repository, I can't do it, but I can. I promised myself that next time when I will deposit my article, I will just stick to only one name, that is called as Sarika Sawant, which is mostly observed in all my digital identities. Okay, so again, your name when appears, it is not in your hand how exactly it will appear your name. The places just now I mentioned that there had a chance when I deposited my article, I had a chance that I should use my name like Sarika Sawant, a consistent name, and I should deposit my articles in this way. But when I publish my articles in the journals, I have observed that the journal uses a different citation style, and again according to that citation style your name appears differently. Here it is like Sawant, comma, S. This is the way my name is appearing, because this Emerald Insight journal uses Harvard citation style. Okay, so I'm trying to show here what are the variations that are starting with your name, because when you talk about your academic visibility starts with your name. Okay, so I'm again showing you here one first citation again is according to the Harvard style, then second is APA style, and third is IEEE style. Okay, these are the 3 different styles. Suppose that particular journal is displaying this type of citation style, I can't help it. Okay, so next thing comes that you have to establish your identity. There are many ways you have to establish your identity. One here, what I'm trying to tell you is consistent name. Okay, let's see. These are the different things that you have to think. I'm not going to talk. I'm going to talk, and I'm going to demo you. I'm going to show you how you can achieve all these particular aspects. Okay, so you are a central point. You are a researcher. You are a teacher. You are a author of articles, books, and all. See the first step. These are all steps you have to follow. Okay, the first step is vigilant in publishing process. What is vigilant in publishing process? You have to be actively involved in the publishing process. Okay, being on the editorial board of 2 prestigious international journals of library science, that is International Information Library Review and Journal of Academic Librarianship, I have learned a lot from them, that how the publishing process takes place, what are the steps involved in it, and what is the role of peer reviewer and what is the role of editors, and how mechanically the process happens. So let me go and show you the slide. I will stop the sharing this screen site, and then let me start the screen with the okay. So this is the journal which is there in front of you. I hope that everybody is able to see this journal. See here in this journal, first you have to read about the journal, which is really important because I will just check Library High Tech News. Showing. Okay. Okay, here is the journal. And when you see any journal, suppose you want to publish your article in this journal, then you have to read about this article. There will be the information displayed about this article and you can just go and check. Okay, so this is the home page of the journal and this is information. See further information about the journal. You just go and check the journal. You should prefer a journal which has been indexed in various journals. See aim and scope and indexing and ranking. This is really important. I'm just giving you one example. You in your domain knowledge or in your domain, whatever are the journals that you can go through and you can find out that this particular journal has been indexed in the Scopus and the various other databases so that your article will be, your data, metadata of your article will be fetched by various databases as well as search engine, because these are the commercial publisher. I'm not here promoting commercial publishers. There are journals, open access journals. They are also having all the rules and the regulations of this in comparison with the commercial publishers. They also follow all the rules and regulations. They are also indexed and indexed in the various databases. They are also having the even impact factor. Okay, so first your duty is to first check what is the aim, objective, scope, whether it is indexed or not. Fine, it is indexed. Then what is your next duty? Your next duty is to find out whether this particular journal is indexed. Then when you try to add the data, here I have opened one window. I will show you when you submit any article.
Come down.
See here what happens. Start new submission. When you start submission, you have to carefully choose the keywords because you are going to create a metadata for that particular article. Okay, and that metadata, whatever you type here, the title, the type of paper you select here, okay, and then the abstract what you insert here is going to be your metadata for your article. Suppose your article gets accepted and it gets published, the same data will be displayed on that particular web page of that particular journal, and which is going to be fetched by various search engines or databases which are there worldwide. I will just show you one example. Library science students, teachers or librarians must be knowing about this, but I will show you one article how the data you will able to see. And then you will have an idea, because when you write carefully, then the same metadata will be generated for that each article, and it will be displayed or it will be indexed by various search engines. I'll just show you what is the publish. So here is the paper. I just open one paper. I will just right click and view page source, and you'll observe this metadata of that particular article. See, this is called, this is title is given, the name is, journal's name is also available here, the abstract is appearing here, and this particular
view the page source.
Huh?
And we can't view the page source.
You are not able to view the page source, but I'm sharing with you.
So ma'am, you can stop the share screen and you can share the desktop version.
Okay. Here now you can see.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So here you can observe all this metadata is available, which is going to be available for all search engines. This data will be exposed to all search engines so that they can index, and then your chances of getting your article, it will be increased. Okay. So this is just, I wanted to show you that how they are indexing, how this all behind this curtain scenes. Okay, so you have to even give the keywords wisely, so that whoever is trying to search by same keywords, your article should get retrieved. Even the journals are also having their own thesaurus system. You have to click on those points and you have to insert in your articles. So when you will experience this, you will understand this, and that time you have to be very wise in selecting whatever points it will come in front of you. Okay, so giving a correct keywords and using a thesaurus, a proper thesaurus, a proper synonyms of your keywords, that is also important aspect that you have to consider. Then it is your journey not even ends here. Okay, suppose you have published your article, then you can check whether this particular journal is in the share. Is allowing you to deposit preprints of your article. For example, I will show you, there is one site called Sherpa Romeo. See, this is a website which has been dedicated only for knowing whether this journal is allowing you to preprint or deposit preprint of your journal or not. See, all commercial publishers do not allow you to deposit their print version of the journal, means the one which has been published. That particular version you are not allowed to deposit anywhere. But preprint and the postprint of the journals you can display. Let me show you again the same example. See, exactly start. So now in front of your screen, you can see author's preprint is allowed, green signal, author's postprint is allowed. Preprint means before peer review, whatever was the version, that you can post, or even suppose you make some changes in your published article and then you want to post it somewhere, then you can also post that. This particular journal is allowing you to do this. So you have to check which are those journals allow you to deposit your articles. So what you are trying to do, what you are trying to do here is you are trying to popularize your article by in form of depositing your article in the various archives. Suppose you have your institutional repository where you're working, then you can deposit your preprints or postprints of the article. So that really makes a difference, so that search engines will search the articles and they will show your article to the user or whoever is searching that particular aspect. Okay, so this is important aspect that you can deposit. Then one more thing you can do is that you can have your website, and on your website you can share the publication list. Like this website, I can show you the publications. The list of all my 39 publication is available here, along with my Google Scholar index. Okay, so here you can see all my articles are available, and these articles are, these red things means that is linked to that particular journal. Okay, so those journals which are open access journals, you can directly see the full text of the journal, but these are not the open access journals. Few are not open access journals which you just can give the links. So suppose someone wants to go and see the particular journal, they can go and see. But few journal articles I have deposited, and here you can see the links: free full text preprint, free full text preprint. That means with the due permission from the journal, I have deposited my articles in the ELS repository, that is the Library Science biggest repository of preprints. Okay, so this is the one way again you can use for just showing people that what you have written. So this is one kind of piece of information you are providing about your articles. You can do this, even you can make a blog in a form of blog also. You can write some write-up, some gist of your article, and then you can just send it across. So whoever is your follower, they can see your gist of your article or abstract of the article, and then they will be curious to know, what is the full text of this article. So in this way you will generate the audience for your article. Okay, this is the point. I just in just few minutes I will show you how you can create a website. So this is the when you will go to your Gmail account, you'll have to go to this particular option will be available. When you click on this, then you can just click on sites. When you click on sites, then you can click on this blank and you can start making your website. I will just, in just 5 minutes, I will show you how you can do it. This is the website. This is a blank. There are templates available, themes available. You can choose any theme, and you can just keep on inserting information about your website. Again here, again one more tip, that you have to use your name when you create your website. Okay, suppose it is your personal website and that this you want to maintain for a lifelong, so you have to give a proper name. Suppose you're a doctorate, then please give your name like Dr. Sarika Savan. This name has not been taken by anyone, so it will allow me to take this name. Otherwise, if the name is taken, then you can remove the doctor, and then you can just try out with the different names. Or you can, if you are unlucky, then you have to try out. Otherwise, if you're lucky, then you can use your same name and you can create your website. So here you can see, you can have your own picture here. You can insert a picture from your images, so that people know you are the same person whose website it is. So here I can show you, just you can upload in your picture and you can title your okay, and then you can just type text also below this. Suppose you are writing about yourself, I will just copy paste and show you. So this my information will be appearing. You can have pages, various pages. Say for example, you can create a page, plus sign is here. You just click on it and new page will be created. You have to give a name to page, for example, publications. When you write a publications, then again you can have insert text. Then again you can add, I'm just using my, so that just I'm giving you trial, so that you will have an idea how you can go about it. Just go on typing, create a pages, different pages. You can have the order also. For example, talks. You can also create these pages. Insert text box and you are here. Okay, so you have 3 pages. One is home page, publications. You can create quickly. We can create one more page. Let's, for example, awards. And you just type it. Insert text box. Anytime you can explore this. This is free of cost. You can create. There are various websites like Weebly and all. They can also allow you to create your own website free of cost, and you can insert this website with your signature in the email, so that let others know your website and let them explore your website too. So these are the pages I have created. Themes you can have. You can use this Diplomat. So your type font and all will be changed, and how you want your page look like. So see here it is appearing, these icons are appearing here. You can change it this way. Okay, you can insert a pictures and you can just view. You can insert the links also. Okay, outside, suppose this particular thing, photograph is available somewhere in some place, you can just link it from here and then you can just have it. Okay, let me show you. You can share your website with all. Let me view, preview. So this is a one way, one medium of reaching to the people, creating your online identity. This is one example, that is a website is one example. You can create a blogs. You can create a small videos also about you, which you can upload in the YouTube also. I would like to tell you that when I had presented our international conference, IFLA conference in Malaysia, I had presented there a poster and a paper. I had created one small video about that, talking about that particular paper and a poster with the visuals, means in a form of images. So that video I had created, which really helped me to reach again an audience. Okay, so that also you can upload on your YouTube channel, so that people can see that also, and then they will ask you, "Arey, you had that poster looks very interesting. Can you give me detailed information about it?" Someone asked me that you have studied NGOs and their services. I would like to explore more about NGOs and their services. Can you share your resources that you used for your poster? So like this kind of discussion or a talk you are creating for your work, because publishing, presentation, that's not enough. That's not the end of your work. Your work starts along with your publications. Okay, your journey still continues. If you want to do, definitely it will be continuing. Okay, you can use even various websites to create your attractive CVs like a Canva and all. And that you can create and you can put up here on your website. Again, that makes it very interesting for people to know more about yourself. Then another strategy that you can adopt is circulating about your article or your piece of paper work among your mailing list forum. Like in for a library science field, we have plenty of mailing lists like ILOC, LS forum, even for IFLA forum, so that you can write about your article in this forums that see, hey, my this particular article has been published, please have a look at it. Or you can just give a nice brief overview about your paper presentation. See, I went to this particular place, I presented my paper on this particular concept, please have a look at it. People will definitely wish you, but also it will ask you for more information, and that more information from their research point of view, maybe you may be helping them in indirectly, directly. Okay, so that you can do. You can also write about your experience in the newspaper, your writing experience, or suppose you have taken a lot of efforts to write one particular conference paper and you feel that now whatever I have written, that should be reachable to the mass level in a form of newspaper article. So that also you can do. You can create a nice small article and you can submit it to the journal, to the newspapers, and then they will try so that it will get published. Then signature, definitely I told you that you can put your latest article and their link with your signature, and also of course the videos that you have created. Then you can upload it on the slideshare.com. Like I also try to whatever are my international publications, I try my level base to write make one slide and show it on the slideshare.com. Okay, I will just show you. If I have, I can show you. I can show you here that I prepared one slide about my paper presentation, which helped me get the good number of audience. So they asked me more about that particular article and they were curious to know more about the work which I did. There is a one slide I will show you. These are all my presentations. So this is my paper which I had published, and there is a presentation, and along with the presentation I had added the links to my articles, okay, which were available on website and openly available so that anyone can read. So this is also one way you can reach to the global audience. So here it's two way. I had the PPT I had prepared, which is also there, and the link of my paper is also there. So both things are achieved here. So you can also do it with your all papers or the papers presented, as well as the papers which are published in the journals also you can create. I had seen slides in a slide shares, even F1 1000. There people have just given the citation of their paper in just one slide, and it is displayed in their profile. Means you can prepare, suppose if you have published 39 articles, then you can prepare 39 slides and you can put up here. So suppose somebody is searching about institutional repository, that particular one slide will be displayed in the search and people will see your slide and then they will go to the paper. In this way, you are reaching to the larger audience. Means what you are trying to do here, you are trying to reach out your paper to the people who really needs your articles. Okay. Then next is a deposition of the articles in various repositories. I try to search various repositories, even in a subject field like education. I found only one repository. Let me check in my bookmark I have. No, this is a different bookmark. I will show you SSRN. This is one repository where you can submit the articles in an education field. You can submit your articles here in this repository. It's a very simple procedure. I told you that first you have to find out whether your journal is allowing you to submit your preprints in this particular repository or not. Okay, you have to go to the Sherpa Romi website, find out the policies of the journal, then come here, create your account here, and then you can submit your paper. The paper, after you submit the paper will go to the moderator, and moderator will see the authenticity of the paper, and then they will accept your paper. And then you can see the papers here in the browse. You can find out the articles. See here in this, these are the various sections they have given. In social sciences, they are there. I tried to find out about education technology, and I could get articles which are submitted by the people who are in the area of education technology. See, there are around 3,262 papers which are available on this particular aspects, and various authors you can find out here. And in this way, you have to find out repositories in your subject. And it is my appeal to the education teachers, though those are educators, you call it as educators. So they can deposit their articles here in this repository, and let's improve the number. It should not be just 3,000, it should be 30,000 and more if everyone starts populating these repositories, because it will be beneficial to all. You are sharing your research results with other fellow colleagues, which may be useful for them. And if they are using your article, then that means they are citing your articles. Definitely they will cite your articles, and automatically your citation count will increase. And again, impact factor will be increased. In case of okay, so in my PPT, I had also shown you, I had also mentioned that along with your publication process, when you start, how you have to be vigilant. Then after publishing, you have to create a buzzword by adding it in your website, creating a blogs, writing a blogs, or the blogs which talk about your topic. You can comment on those blogs in form of articles. You can say that, hey, my article is there in related to your area. Anytime you can view. Okay, for that you need to have your website, you have to have your blog, you have to deposit your articles in the preprints, institutional repositories as well as archives, and then you can again this circulate among your all the community in form of mailing lists as well as a WhatsApp. You can keep a WhatsApp status. That is also a very good idea. You can just type the details, citations of your article, and you can keep your status. Don't you think instead of keeping your photo, you can keep that also along with your, that is also one significant achievement, and then you should highlight in your status also. So in this way, you are trying, or your own creating, you're marketing your articles. Okay, you are trying to reach, you're giving audience or a justice to your article that you have created after doing so much of efforts. Okay, so one interesting aspect that comes in front of you is after this is you should have your Google Scholar. Okay, I hope my screen share is visible to you. So here you can have Scholar. And you can do it very well. It's not difficult at all. You have to have a Google account, and with the Google account, you can create this Google Scholar, this profile. See, these are not just a profile, these are your biodata. You keep that in mind, okay? And why it is important? See, the funders are also very much interested what you have done with the funding which you which you received from that particular funder. So suppose I received a funding from the Center for Canadian Studies. I wrote a paper and I published that paper in the journal, as well as I have deposited preprints of that particular research in the ELS repository. Means one way you're acknowledging your funder, and funder is also very smart. They try to find out, they do digging of your data. When you next time you go and ask for a funding, they first ask you what you did with your earlier uh, funding or papers or a research report, what all things you have done, and they will also do the scrutiny of your identity on the Google or in the search engines, that whether there is an article or not, whether it is mentioned somewhere, whether it is full text available or not. So that all these background scenarios you have to keep in mind. Okay, so here you should have an official mail ID you have to give. Then if you have your website also that you can link from here, you can also have your co-author site along with you. Google is very smart. It will try to get the data from various databases, as well as various journals and the other things, and it will just create this profile for you. Okay, this will automatically will be created by the Google Scholar for you. But keep in mind that, again, in the beginning I had told you that there is one person called Sarika Samant, Dr. Sarika Samant, who is a dermatologist who also writes articles and publishes. And sometimes Google mistakenly adds that article, her article, in my profile. So what you have to do, you have to just click it and delete it. You have that option. So that cleanup you have to do once in a month, as and when you see any discrepancy in your profile. So here there might be question in minds of the people that what about the printed articles? These all are articles, whatever you are seeing in front of me, they are all online available. That is why Google has find out and Google has generated this Scholar for me. But what about print journals? Yes, of course you can do it. Here is the option. You can just click here, add the articles or articles by manually. Here you can find out different type of articles which you can click, and accordingly this data you have to fill up and you just upload it on your Google Scholar. People still see your printed article and they still ask you, Madam, your printed article, your conference paper is there. I can see in the Google Scholar. Please let me have the preprints or the copy shared with me so that I can use for my study. So this is one way, again, you are popularizing your article which you have done. Written down, because you have taken a lot of efforts, right, to create this profiles, to write these articles. So why not reach to the audience? So in this way you can create your Google Scholar. You can have the alerts also, Google alerts. So if you click here, you just click on the alerts. Metrics also will able to help you to show you what exactly journals and with their rankings. Okay, so this you can see, this is from the Google Scholar. So alerts you can create for your name, like I told you that Sawan, S dot Sarika Sawan, Sawan, S dot S dot, or Sarika Sawan. So anything is noted by Google by this particular name will be notified to me, and then it will come in my inbox and I can see, yes, there is one new article come up. Someone has cited my article, or my article which was earlier printed but it has gone, the journal has gone online. Now it is now visible to me, and I'll just have and go and look at it. Okay, so here in this form, you can also see the people who have cited your articles with the help of these alerts. Okay, and also I have one point I would like to tell along with this is that, so if you have done your PhD, make sure that your PhD goes in Shodh Ganga. Okay, so if it is not gone, so where you have done your PhD, you request the library that please have my full text of the thesis online Shodhganga, so that your thesis will be reachable to all, because it's a very lengthy procedure. It takes time. A lot of workload is there with the university librarians. So definitely they will do, but it takes time. So you can, from your side, you can trigger that process. Okay, so this you can do. And the next part, that is the last interesting part, is that academic social networks. Academic social networks, I'm not talking here about the Facebook. I'm talking here about the academic social networks like LinkedIn or Orchid ID. So let me to show you what is Orchid ID. See, this is the unique ID, like how we have an Aadhaar card, right? In India, every individual has an Aadhaar card number. Like that, every researcher are having their unique ID, that is Orchid ID. So that is your first step. Once you publish your article in the journal, you must have your Orchid ID. By registering yourself here, you have to, how you create your profile in a Facebook, or you create your profile in the LinkedIn. Like that, you have to create your ID here. There are almost 30 lakh, means 3 million people have registered here, and that makes a unique. Why it makes a unique? Because the ID that is generated for you will be shared by all major databases like Scopus, Web of Science. They will pick up this Orchid ID from you. Miss, this is you. Even though you are using the name called Sawan, S. Dot or Sawan, Sarika or Dr. Sarika Saman, you can mention it here that this is you. Okay, and this is really, really important in case of international funding agencies. They will first see whether you have your Orchid ID or not. Okay, so here you can see your Orchid ID. Let me show you my Orchid ID. Yes. This is a LinkedIn, Google Scholar, Academician. Okay, let me go directly to the LinkedIn Orchid. And here you can have list of all your publications which are published, and people definitely will go through it. All over the world, people are going to see your Orchid ID, and which will be linked up with your name. So here I will show you, see, I have given my personal website, my Scopus ID, which has been generated by the Scopus. Even these are my email IDs, which are attached to my name. And I am known as, I have written here Dr. Sarika Sawan, but I am known as a Sawan, S or Sawan, Sarika, which I have given, and this articles I have uploaded. My history I have given, my job profile, it's like a CV, brief CV. And here you can see all the articles which I have published, which are really manually. Sometimes I have Orchid also, I have picked up instantly at the moment I created my Orchid ID. And this is one kind of a CV that you have created for you, which is globally reached and globally used by the citation databases. So this is one important aspect. Again, I can show you the Scopus ID, which I have generated. Okay, before the Scopus ID, I can show you something very latest which has come from the InflibNet, that is Vidwan, that they have created one expert databases, and there are not only the teachers will be having their profile, but also the research scholars, PhD research scholars, as well as distinguished teachers, fellows will be, their profile will also be flashed here. Okay, so see, I have uploaded my Vidwan ID also. I have done my linked my all data from my Scopus and ORCID ID to this Vidwan ID, and Vidwan has immediately picked up. I exported my all files from the ORCID ID and uploaded here. They have one option called import option. So you don't have to go and type all these things. These are all linked together also. So here you can just create your nice profile. You give all information about yourself. What is your profile? What is your area of expertise? You have to give your keywords also, which you are associated with journals. What is your role, or as well as which research projects you have carried out. That also you have to mention. I liked about Vidwan ID is that they are asking about the membership of various committees, professional bodies also. This information is never asked by any other social networking website, but this Vidwan ID has asked. So it shows you the score. Your score also, it shows you my score is 9.1 here. And again, it in nutshell also gives you your data. It also gives you citations, who has read your articles also. I think in some days, in few days, it will show you that also. It has just started 1 month back. So it has not yet been popular as well as popularized. Okay, so here is a second option that you can try out. Then Academia. Just find out from the bookmark. Okay. ResearchGate. I'll show you ResearchGate and then Academia. So here again, Academia. I will definitely suggest you that instead of posting your photos on Facebook, please, if you are a serious researcher and if you want your identity to be disclosed to everyone, reach to the global level, you should create all these profiles. Okay, there are plenty of websites. These are only few I have showed you. There are again Publons is there. There is a impact stories also there that also help you to create such a profile for you, which can, and what is the use of this? See, here you are showing them what are your publications and the list of publications, who are your readers, who is reading your article, who is your audience, how many times it has been read in 1 month. So all analytics, altimetric part you can generate because of only this exercise. Okay, so this is important that you should create your profiles on these various academic social networking website. I'm not talking about Facebook. I'm talking about academic social networking website. Okay, so Scopus, I will show you. Since Mendeley is attached to the Scopus, you can have your ID there also. I can show you how it will help you, how you will able to find out the collaborators or the future partner for your research work. Okay, so once you come to know, once you have your this profile, you must know who are the people in your subject area. Okay, so let me show you dashboard review account. So you can join those networks of that particular areas of studies. You can find out in a group or in a collection that this particular group is reading about these articles. So yes, let me join this this group. And when you join this particular group, you will come to know various different articles, and then you will also come to know what is the trend now, what people are doing the research. So you can have your future strategy that yes, you can have this particular journal. Let me again try Mendeley. Yes, see, since you become the member, you join a group.
Excuse me, ma'am. Excuse me, ma'am. Your screen sharing has stopped, I think.
Okay, I will show you.
The slides
Okay,
are
I will
not
show you.
changing.
Okay, I will stop and I will again.
Yes.
Okay, now you can see. Is
Yes,
it visible?
yes.
So by doing all exercises, by doing all making your profile everywhere in academic social networks, what are you trying to achieve here? You are trying to achieve means you are trying to connect yourself with the like-minded people, the areas of your expertise, areas of your study. You can have the collaboration with those people. You can know, you can exchange your papers with them, and then you can find out what is a trend, what are those areas now you should focus on, and what are the likely future of your area. So you should stick to it or you switch to it or something like that. So this is the profile you can create, and you can just have your all articles you can upload here. I will show you here. See, I have written my introduction. I have given tags here. I have given again a ORCID ID, Scopus ID. I have linked to this Mendeley, and I can see who are reading my articles. Okay, I uploaded this, and then I can see there are 10 articles for this article. In just 1 week, I have this recently I have added this article. So I could see that how many people are reading, and they try to they comment also on your article, so that you come to know, you get a kind of feedback to your work. So this is all about the academic social networking and how you can enhance your performance, not only sharing your research result, but also making people aware about what is going on at a global level. So I hope you have understood what I have created, what I have done in this 5 years, or when I started this journey 10 years back. And I hope you have understood, and you'll carry forward whatever is shared with you.
Excuse me, ma'am Sarika. When you showed about ORCID ID, your screen sharing was not on. So
Okay.
people couldn't, can you please repeat it in?
Yes, see, it is here. ORCID ID that I had created, and this I have linked up with every my profile, every academic network profile. You have to, it's like a Aadhaar card, like how we have a digital object identifier for every single book and every single article, like that. This is your unique ID that you have to have with you, and you have to link with your website also. Even you can have this ORCID ID with your signature also. So here you can see these are the names. I am known by these names. So ORCID knows that I am the same person, even though publisher, which is showing when the article is published, even though my name is appearing as a Sawant, S dot, ORCID knows that I am the same person. Okay, so this is really helpful for us, for our academicians, for our researchers to have our ORCID profile. Once you prepare your ORCID profile, you can share it with across all the platform, and then it becomes your unique identity. So here is the profile. See, this is like kind of CV only. So you can see here your all details, your employment history, your qualifications, the research projects which you have carried out, the community work, if in case if you have done it, and the articles which you have done. Okay, so this you can just share with everyone. And you can take a printout of this. Instead of sending your brief biodata to the organizer, you can anytime you can share your ORCID ID with them, so that they can find out information about you, and then they can read about your biodata. Okay, so this is, I recommend that those who are the budding writers or academicians, You should keep all these things in mind. Let me again brush up what I started with. I told you that you should have your unique name. You must write with the same name everywhere, like how you have a signature like that. You must choose wisely which journal you want to write for, whether that article has indexed or not in the various indexing systems or not. Whether if it is an open access journal, then fine, no problem. Again, you have to check whether it is available, whether it is indexed in the indexing journals and abstracts or not. That you have to check. So when you submit your article, you have to see to it that you write a very good keywords, you write a nice abstract, so that the metadata you are generating while submitting your article becomes your identity, because the same things are fetched by the search engines across the globe. Okay, so what you are writing is only publisher is showing to the search engine. So keep in mind, you give a proper, you use a proper words, keywords, synonyms, use a thesaurus, and give a proper keywords for your articles. So once your article is published, just give a wide publicity by writing on a blog, by writing on a website, by adding in your signature, by through WhatsApp. Create a group of a WhatsApp or your professional friends. You can circulate that message among your circular, your friends and the professional group, so that they come to know ki, yes, this has been something new and now I should read it. And definitely people will ask you, if it is not available full text, they will ask you, they will email you and ask you that please kindly share your print version with us. And then it's fair enough, you can share with them, because under fair use, anytime you can share with people. Then you can again you can share it through the slide shares. You again add in your Google Scholar. Google Scholar will definitely immediately update as soon as your article goes online. On the same day it will get updated, or the next day it will be updated. You keep on tracking your Google Scholar, so that there should not be any other person's article updated in your Google Scholar. Make sure that your conference proceedings, which are in a form of printed form, give a try. Just type it in the Google Scholar, and let people know your printed articles also. Okay, so this you can do. Mailing list, definitely you can forward it to the mailing list. You can find out the policy of the journal, and you can deposit the preprint and post-print of your article in the repositories of your subject. Okay, that in case of education I shared with you SSRN, that you can use to deposit article. And I hope that more Indian researchers will come forward and deposit their articles in the SSRN. So this one way again giving a good visibility to your work. Then alert creations you can do for your names. Again, make a profile everywhere. Create the profile not only in the ORCID ID. Link that ORCID ID. Create a ORCID ID with academia or ResearchGate, where there are people in your own field will be seeing your articles. Okay, even though you do not upload the article, even though you write your title, still it will show you that yes, there is one article. Because if suppose people are not member of Academia, still Google will show you that this Sarika Samad is having her article preprint there in this particular profile. You can go and get it. Okay, Google Scholar, if you're searching articles for the full text, Google Scholar will also show you that these are all articles are available. I will just give you the quick overview of that. Let me show you Scholar Google. Okay, so suppose if I'm typing institutional repositories in India. See here, all the articles which are full text available are shown here on the right side. Okay, so in this Google will do for you. Once you do all this background business, Google will be your official spokesperson, you can say, marketing personnel, you can say. So they Google will do all things for you. As you do your work, Google will do his own work, and it will reach your articles, your preprints definitely. And if it is a open access article, that will also be reached to the right audience, right researcher at the right time. Okay, so this is all about how you can enhance your visibility. I hope you have understood, and if you have any queries, you can anytime you can ask me. My email ID is there with you. I will stop sharing with you screen, and then we can go back to our slide. I think screen share and this slide is there. Okay, so I have covered all these points with you. Scholar alerts, Google alerts. Okay. So I hereby acknowledge all the apps and the websites that I have used for making my presentation. Okay. One thing again I forgot to tell you about Creative Commons license. Whenever suppose there is something, a piece of work which you have written, but you have not got a chance to publish anywhere. You obviously you can write it on your blog, or you can write it on your website, and you can just link your Creative Commons license with you. I will just show you just quickly. I will stop share screen and I will show you the Creative Commons license. Where it is? Yes. I will show you here. So when you attach your article, that time you can attach your article also. Creative Commons license.
Hello, ma'am. Sorry, there is echo sound.
Echo, but there is nothing open.
Your mobile is there nearby you, nearby PC?
Mobile is off. Is it
now
okay?
it's clear. Now it's clear. Now it's clear.
Okay. So I have opened one website. I will show you how you can attach a Creative Commons license along with you. So if you're writing your article and you are keeping it on your website, unpublished paper. So this paper you can upload on your website, and you can have this Creative Commons license attached with it, so that whoever is seeing your article or using your article, they have to acknowledge your article, and you are protecting your article using this Creative Commons license. So this is one thing I had not mentioned. So this is all about your articles and your visibility. Again, you can use Twitter also to make your article reach to the global audience, as Twitter is widely used by academicians. So you can have your account on Google, Twitter, as well as on Facebook. You can share your just citation in form of tag, and you just share it with all your followers and the friends. So that's it. I will stop sharing.
Thank you, Ma'am Sarika, for such informative session. There are a few questions which are raised by our participants. First one is, in the era of plagiarism, paraphrasing, how can one keep their academic work safe?
I told you just now. I mentioned that Creative Commons license. You have to attach your Creative Commons license with your work. If it is not published, then. If it is published, when you publish your articles, you have to read the policy of the journal very well. Okay, means whether the what are the terms and conditions of the journal. Okay, whether you have any right to modify the article, you are keeping the right with you or not. Or again, I told you that Sherpa Romeo website, you can find out what are the policies about that journal from the sherparomeo.com, and then you can take a decision accordingly.
Okay. The second one is sometimes it becomes difficult to select the journal for publishing interdisciplinary work even after reading the scope of the journal. So how can we make wise decisions in such case for journal elections?
Again, it is clearly depending on your piece of paper, means research work. What is your area and who is a global audience? How well you have written that article? Because at the beginning stage, you may not, your article may not get accepted by the high profile journals because their language, their style, their presentation is really different and tough for sometimes. So you can start with the smaller kind of journals, which are very light, which their guidelines are very simple, so that you can at least start from that. Again, depending on your domain, depending on your area of study, you can select those journals and then you can go ahead with that. Like I had received this recommendation for my first article. The editor had suggested me that this article is not suitable for this particular journal. Then that editor itself has suggested me, why not you submit your article here? This fits very well in this particular journal. And I published my article there in that particular journal, which is online collection building, one of the Emerald Journal. So again, I told you that you should have a good rapport with the people which are there in your field. Your way of your writing and getting information from them.
The next question is, how do you calculate impact factor of a journal?
Again, it depending on journal to journal. Okay, it's about the productivity is measured in terms of number of articles cited by number of your papers. Okay, so again, it's a very different area. Which
how to publish paper in Emerald journals, and is the review process difficult than DJLIT?
Difficult than
DJLIT.
DJLIT. Can I have the?
It's not mentioned, ma'am.
Okay. No, I'm not here publicizing Emerald. It's a commercial publisher. It's not at all simple. Not a single journal is simple to publish your article and do follow up. They all are very, very have strict guidelines. The moment you submit your article goes through plagiarism software. They have very high-end plagiarism software. Once it passes through, they get a green signal. Otherwise, they will strictly reject that. 80% of your article is unacknowledged. In a very nice words, they tell you that it is unacknowledged, so it is not suitable for your for our publication. So we are not able to proceed further. So you have to spend a lot of work in writing your article. It is really important. You have to cite, acknowledge each and word which you are using in your paper. Okay, whatever citation styles you are using in your field, you have to thoroughly follow it.
The next question is, what is considered to be a good impact factor?
See, again, it depending on the subject to subject. See, medical field has very high impact factor journal, but in social sciences, this may not be applicable because social sciences, again, there are vernacular journals which are available, and you may not calculate. You cannot be on par with those high-end journals. So you simply cannot predict that this is good or this is bad. Again, our UGC is recommending us that we should have our articles in the KR listed. So all these worries are with the KR only, and they are only looking after it. which journal is good and which journal is having a good impact factor, which journal we should write it. So they are giving us a authoritative or authentic list.
Yes, ma'am. And the next question is whether we can put name of the journal when we cite our articles on Google Scholar.
We can name
Name of the journal.
Yes, citation definitely coming with the moment your article is published online. Again, I showed you that metadata is generated for that every article which is there in the journal. That particular citation is Google fetches and upload in your Google Scholar. Automatically it happens. And if it is printed journal article, you just upload your data. I showed you that how to upload the journal article manually. So the citation is generated.
And the last question, ma'am, how to search a good research paper on Google site?
Google Scholar is the best option, I can say. And I can say that you just scroll the right side of your Google Scholar, you'll find links. That means the full text of that article is available somewhere. So you can go and see. And not only Google, I will suggest that there are many good repositories available worldwide. PhD theses are available online, full text free of cost are available online, which you can search and you can find out the information from there.
That's all, ma'am, for question answer session. Now, I take this opportunity officially to thank you on behalf of STI team. Ma'am, really thank you very much for opening our eyes to this concept of visibility of authors through academic social platform. I feel as researchers, we do lack this information on our part, and this was a session which know what we are doing as long as our papers are concerned, what we should be doing exactly and how we should be doing it. Ma'am, thank you very much for live demonstrations. You not only told us what you should be doing, but you have also showed us how it has to be done. And we are really impressed by your work, and we look forward, to use these platforms and use this information which we have gathered through this session to empower ourselves and to grow academically also. Thank you very much. It was a pleasure having you with us for today's session.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
you really made this technical, information very, very easy for us to understand, and you presented it also very well to all of us. Thank you on behalf of all the participants also.
Thank you very much. I am really happy. And this is exactly the journey I have shown you right from the beginning for the 10 years. And I feel that whatever mistakes, whatever I should have done that time, that mistakes should not be repeated by you. And again, a safe digital online life. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much. Over to you, Shakuntala. Unmute yourself, Shakuntala.
You'll have to unmute.
Thank you, ma'am Sarika, for such a wonderful presentation. There are few announcements for tomorrow and about the feedback links also. Links for the feedback for day 1, that is 19th May, will be posted shortly in WhatsApp and Telegram group of Education Gen Next. You can expect the links till 5:30. Kindly fill the feedback forms for day 1 with proper details as and when the links are posted in the groups. The links will be deactivated within 30 minutes. The feedback form contains feedback for all the sessions on 19th May with few simple MCQs based on all sessions, morning and evening also. YouTube link for tomorrow's session will be shared through all the groups by 10:10 in the morning tomorrow. It's mandatory to submit the feedback forms for both days to get certificates provided you have registered participant of the webinar. And please, we request you not to share the feedback links to any other groups. We will be starting tomorrow's session by 10:15 in the morning instead of 10:30. Earlier it was shared that we will start it 10:30, but we are going to, due to some reason, we are going to start it by 10:15 in the morning. So please keep that in mind. Speaker for tomorrow's session, again, we have eminent speaker from Library and Information Science, Dr. Saptarshi Ghosh, Assistant Professor from Department of Library and Information Science, North Bengal University, Darjeeling, and he is going to speak on paradoxical betweenness in academic endeavors and research matrices. So like today's session, this session is also going to be very interesting, and researchers and academicians in higher education should attend it attentively so that they can increase their H-index, citations, etc. Thank you so much. So I declare that we can stop the webinar here today for the day. And tomorrow we will be meeting 10:15 sharp. Links will be shared through WhatsApp and Telegram channels. Thank you so much. We can end the meeting now.